Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and welcome.
Shabbat
I
Shalom.
know it's a very cold November night in Chicago here in Los Angeles, but we want you to feel the warmth of Shabbat, and that comes on our night called Shabbat Zimrah. For many of you who may be visiting here because you have a bat mitzvah, or a bat mitzvah, or a very cute little baby, we have lots of celebrations going on. I want you to feel that warmth too. I want you to know that Shabbat is the Sabbath, and Zimrah is a word for music. It's a different word in Hebrew. There's a word shirah, there's a word zimrah, some other words as well. But this is the night of music. This is not a passive experience. We expect you to be toe-tapping, clapping, singing, hymning, la-la-la-ing.
If you want to.
And if you don't want to, your name will be called out.
No,
Because we
it
really want you
won't.
to enjoy. We want you to feel at home with this music. For those of you who don't know, the vast majority of Jews in Israel, they don't come from the land of corned beef and bagels. They come from the East. And so much of the music that we have tonight is from the East, known as Mizrach. And so it's a Mizrahi feel to our music. We have three fabulous musicians who've been playing with us for Shabbat Zimrah. Yuval Ron on the oud. For many of you, that's a new instrument, and you get introduced to it tonight. Ava Nahas on 17 percussion instruments, which he plays all at the same time. And Peter Gordon on 17 flutes, which he is able, with his hands, to play at least two at a time. We're thrilled that they're here. This is an inspiration of Cantor Shapiro to bring this music to us, and we hope that you have a wonderful Shabbat and participate and join us. And right now I'm going to call on our two Benot Mitzvah to come and join us, and the Frank family and the Shapiro family to join us as well. We're going to come all stand up here, and we're going to turn to page 2 in our prayer book.
Page 2.
I was a Boy Scout before I was a rabbi. Light. Lexi. 1, 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Shabbat lahadlik ner
We're going to turn, friends, to page 5. If you are under the age of bar or bat mitzvah, meaning you're not yet 13 or you're in training, don't go away. Stay right here. Bam? Bat mitzvah? Just all you have to do is listen to the rabbi. Did he say discharged? No. So we're going to invite anyone under 13 to come up and join us for our Kiddush. That includes those who are studying for bar or bat mitzvah, wherever they may be. It includes these young people right over here. You're welcome to come join us. And we're going to invite all who are able to please rise. Page 5. And just as Alex led the candle blessing, Lexi's going to lead us in the Kiddush on page 5.
Baruch
ata Adonai Eloheinu Borei Peri Hagafen Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitzanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kadsho be'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom tehila lemikra esh kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim ki vanu arta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kadsha be'ahava uratzon hinhaltanu baruch ata Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
And as our kids and adults here finish some juice, we're going to invite everyone to be seated, except for our Benot Mitzvah. And we're going to invite Mara Fine forward, representing our sisterhood.
So, I'm going to get between you. And I have to tell you that I love making these presentations. But I especially love making these presentations to bat mitzvah girls because I was one at one point. So I feel like I'm passing on the torch to another generation of young women who are going to make us all very, very proud tonight and tomorrow. On behalf of the congregation, now, who's Alex and who's Lexi? You're Alex, okay. So on behalf of the congregation, I'm going to present both of you with a copy of the Tanakh, which I hope you will use for your lives and when you are in a situation where you're trying to decide what to do, perfect place to look to figure out what to do. I'm also proud that I can this evening, on behalf of the congregation, give each of you a set of these candlesticks, and on behalf of sisterhood, as you enter into our sisterhood of bat mitzvah women, I'm proud to present to you a Kiddush cup for each of you. So mazel tov to your families, and do well.
So we have a special time tonight to honor a new baby in our community. And I'd love to invite her parents with her, and maybe big sister too, because that may be what is necessary at this exact moment. So you should know that part of my fun being the Rabbi University Synagogue for these 17 years is that connections are made that I never knew existed. So Ari, Dad, over here, grew up about 4 doors down and across the street from where I grew up. Of course, he did it about 30 years later, but it is kind of fun to have neighbors who end up being congregants, and I have the opportunity to be involved with them at this special moment. So we're so honored to bring today your little girl with you. So when our people were at Mount Sinai, and God was about to give the Torah to the Jewish people, he said, "Bring me the best guarantors and I'll give you the Torah." And the people said, "Oh, let our patriarchs and our matriarchs be our guarantors. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah." And God said, "They're not good enough. I can't accept them as guarantors to give you the Torah. Bring me better guarantors, I'll give you the Torah." they thought a little bit more, 600,000 people trying to put their heads together all in the desert. And they said, let our prophets be our guarantors. And God said, love the prophets. I mean, they are fantastic. They're not sufficient to be the guarantors of the giving of Torah to you. And that really stumped our ancestors. It was hot. They were sweaty. The sweat boiling down their heads as they get nervous trying to figure out the answer. And they realized they were thinking about the past and not the future. They said, let our children be our guarantors. And God said, for the sake of our children, for the sake of the future, I will indeed give the Torah to you. That beautiful story tells us so much about our tradition. And so on this day, for all the mysteries that you are holding in your hands, for Torah and mitzvot, for companionship and love, for the warmth of family, the joy and sacred privilege of parenthood,
We joyfully bring our daughter into the covenant of Israel.
ציווה לאלף דור, זכר לעולם בריתו, ברוך אתה אדוני כורת הברית.
We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to bring our daughter to the covenant of our people Israel.
We're happy to hear from you. We like the voices of women in our congregation and throughout the Jewish community. And we love kisses. I mean, I know you may not see them in your prayer book. Kiss here. You might see that, any of you, for the Benot Mitzvah tomorrow as well. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, kayemet hayalda hazot la'aviha u'la'ima, v'yikarei shma b'Yisrael, Chana bat Ariel udvora, yismacha b'yotzeit chalatza b'tagel ima b'fri v'itna, zot ha'ktana gdola tihiyeh, כשם שנכנסה לברית, כן תיכנס התורה לחופה, ולמעשים טובים.
Amen.
Our God, God of our mothers and our fathers, sustain this child through her parents' loving care. Let her be known among our people Israel by the name Chana, the daughter of Ariel and Devorah, and to be known in the wider community as Camilla, Bella, Rosa, Chazenis. May her name be a source of joy to her and inspire her to serve our people and all humanity. May her parents rejoice in her growth of body and soul as they have brought her into the covenant. May they, with wisdom and patience, especially patience, lead her to the study of Torah, a life of good deeds, and a marriage worthy of God's blessing, as we all say together. Amen. And who among us is going to be brave enough to tell us about her name?
Hannah?
Chana or Camilla?
Oh, Camila.
Camilla.
The meaning of her name?
Why you chose Camilla Bella Rosa?
Oh, wow. Well, Camila, you know, we had 10 names, 20 names probably on our list. And we didn't actually name her until, I think, 7 days after she was born. We couldn't make up our minds. But we went with Camila, and we feel like we made a very good choice. And her Bella Rosa, my wife liked Bella, and Rosa is my grandmother's first name. So that was kind of a remembrance. Not a remembrance. My grandmother's still alive. So, but
This is a Sephardic side
she
of our
couldn't make
Jewish-
it here tonight, but yes, exactly. And
Thank you.
and this is Valentina. Hannah. And Hannah. Oh, and Hannah, it means grace in Hebrew, and her middle name is Grace. So they have a connection there.
They're connected indeed.
Yeah, exactly.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב, אמותינו שרה רבקה רחל ולאה, ויברך את הילדה הזאת. ויזכו אביה ואמה לגדלה לחנכה ולחכמה, ויהיו ידיה וליבה לאל אמונה, ונאמר Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless this infant. May her father and mother have the privilege of rearing her, educating her, encouraging her to attain wisdom. May her hands and her heart be faithful in serving God. And let us all say together, Amen. And Cantor, if you would be so kind as to lead us in a very important blessing. Absolutely.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May Adonai bless you and keep you.
יאר אדוני
gracious Son to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May Adonai lift up the divine countenance upon you, Camila, Bella Rosa, and Valentina too, and always smile upon you as God offers the choicest of all blessings, the blessing of peace. Can you hear that song? May this be God's will.
Amen.
Amen. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Semen tov and mazel tov and mazel tov and semen tov. Semen tov, semen tov and mazel tov, mazel tov and semen tov. Yehelanu, 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 u'v'chol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, u'lechol Yisrael. Mazel tov.
I feel very blessed tonight, though I'm not sure my microphone's on, so.
Brian, can we get Joanne on?
I feel very blessed tonight to be able to join with all the simchas, to be able to take part in this celebration. As I reflect on why it was that I chose to be sitting here in this chair, I think about the first time that a rabbi made me feel included and made it known to me that I was a part of the community and that me being a part of this community was important. That first time was when I was a freshman in college, and I will never forget that conversation, that first sense of warmth and belonging. And I will never forget that rabbi who first made me feel like that, like I was included in this community, and that was important. And I decided at that point that it was going to be my calling, that it was going to be my sacred calling to make sure that in the future I was able to do the same thing that he did for me, was to actually open up communities and be welcoming in this way, and to be able to gather, to be able to bring a group of people together on purpose, to bring positivity into the universe. And that's what you all have done here for me as well, is welcomed me into this community. And how fitting that our prayer, that our opening prayer is Hine Matov, because I do feel that it is so good that we get to be here together in prayer this evening. Hine Matov, page 10.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לילה 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 לילה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לילה 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 לילה. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, יאללה לילה 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 לילה. יאללה לילה לילה לילה. יאללה לילה לילה. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, יאללה לילה לילה לילה. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, יאללה לילה לילה. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד. יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי איי 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 יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי איי 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 אז ירננו כל הצייה אז ירננו כל הצייה אז ירננו כל הצייה אז ירננו כל הצייה יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי איי 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 יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי איי 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 אז ירננו כל הצייה אז ירננו כל הצייה אז ירננו כל הצייה אז ירננו כל הצייה יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו אז ירננו כל הצייה אז ירננו כל הצייה אז ירננו כל הצייה אז ירננו כל הצייה יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי איי 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 יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי איי 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 איי
We continue now with Shalom Aleichem on page 24. officially welcome in Shabbat with Lecha Dodi on page 20.
שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה, תחילו. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. חדדי, לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי ברך קומי אורי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. דודי, לקראת כלה, שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום את בעלה, גם בשמחה תוכם הונם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי לך דודי, לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. דודי, לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
As we have just welcomed in Shabbat, we now take a moment to welcome each other. So go ahead and say hello, Shabbat Shalom. Introduce yourself to someone you may not know. If you're on that side of the family and from Chicago, make some friends.
page 28.
Baruch Hu et Adonai
So indeed a very special night, naming of a baby, Tu B'not Mitzvah, the Shabbat prior to the ordination of a rabbi in the Jewish people. And we all have a month ahead of special events. We have Mother's Day and we have Father's Day, but the question I want to ask you to answer in your own heart is, those are sacred events, but what is sacred in your daily life? What is sacred in your daily life? When we can identify what's holy to us each and every day, that can open up a new horizon for us of relationship to our community, to our family, and to our God. As we turn to page 34 and join together, Shema Yisrael.
Let's start the Shema, the one that you probably know the melody to, but first by taking a full breath for each word of the Shema. Shema Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Mechuto Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Mechuto Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai
Lexi's going to lead us in Ve'ahavta, and we'd love for all of you to join with her.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלתך ובדרך ובחופך וקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתם מארץ מצרים, לכות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
So Joanne, especially since you're about to become a rabbi, officially, capital R, I thought I'd ask you some questions. Because I asked myself these questions prior to my ordination. They come to me from Rabbi Eugene Lippman, a very, very fine rabbi who served in Washington, D.C. And in addition to being a cutting-edge social activist, social justice activist, he also was a scholar. And he wrote, "It's been the custom to speak of rabbis and cantors and other Jewish communal functionaries as sacred vessels. What do we pour into ourselves? Do we try to fill ourselves with Torah and all its meanings? Do we do our best to be avid students of Jewish law and lore? Do we make a study of Torah an unshakable part of everyday's living? What do we pour out of ourselves in our spirits and our energies and our caring? Do we work constantly for the well-being of Jews everywhere? Do we care passionately and labor intensively for the reshaping of the world in the direction of God's requirements? Do we force ourselves to amass our courage and risk everything for the right?" I look back as I'm about to retire and you're about to, I'm not going to say take my job, but you're certainly going to be taking a place as a rabbi come Sunday. And I would invite you to ask these questions for a very, very long time in your own life. Amen. Friends, we're going to turn to Michamocha, page 40, our freedom ballad, our song from Egypt as we left, and our goal to enter a land of freedom, a land of responsibility.
Kodesh mi כי פדה אדוני את יעקב ויעלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני
Bottom of page 44. Bob Marley did not know he was quoting Torah when he said, "Don't worry, be happy." And that's really what this prayer is about. It's a quote from Torah that says, "Be happy." It's from the word simcha, which many of us know is a happy occasion. Yismachu is the verb that says, "You shall be happy." That's obvious that we're not worrying when we're happy. So let's sing Yismachu, bottom of 44. I was wrong. It's Bobby McFerrin. It sounds better with Bob Marley because I'm Morley, so I figured, Call me McFerrin Feinstein. Doesn't sound right.
שומרי שבת וכל העונג, ישמחו במלכותך. שומרי שבת וכל העונג, עם מקדשי שבי שבת. כולם יספרו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. שבת וכל העונג, ישמחו במלכותך. שומרי שבת וכל העונג, והשביעי רצית בו וקידשת שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת.
turn, friends, to page 48. Alex is going to lead us. We're going to join with her as we sing Avot ve'imahot, 48, and then we turn to 50. We're going to invite all who are able to please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'konei HaKol V'zocher Hasdei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Ge'ula Livnei V'nehem Lama'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magin Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'Yitzrak Sarah
50.
Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mehaye HaKol Atah Rav Le'Oshia Morid Hatal Mechochel Chaim Behesed Mehaye HaKol Beracham Ibramim Somech Noflim Ve'Rafeh Holim Umatir Osirim Umekayem Emunato Lishene Afar Michamucha Ba'al Givurot Umito Melach Melech Memit Umekayem Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman Atah Lecha Chayot HaKol Baruch Atah Adonai Mehaye HaKol
52. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu chasela, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We praise you, holy God. Friends, we're going to invite you to continue silently at your own pace from 54 to 60, either the right side or the left side of the page. As you do so, skip the portions that are indented, that are not appropriate for our Shabbat Eve. Right side or left side, next few pages ahead. You may be seated or you may stand, and you may also, of course, offer the prayer within your own heart. a new student rabbi from the Hebrew Union College mothership in Cincinnati, Ohio, arrived in Yanimavelt, Kentucky. You won't find it on a map. After all, Jewish people must have a spiritual leader wherever they are. As she prepared for the High Holy Days, she practiced her prayers and her sermon from the lectern. Feeling fully prepared, she ascended the bima to begin the Rosh Hashanah morning service. She led the prayers facing the congregation. As the time came to sound the shofar, all of a sudden, she heard congregants yelling from all over the sanctuary, "To the ark! To the ark! To the ark!" She was absolutely clueless as to why people were yelling. She turned to the ark and proceeded with the shofar and the remainder of the service. During the 10 days that followed before Yom Kippur, she researched, studied, and analyzed texts to find out why people clamored for her to turn to the ark. Not a single text and not a single professor could help her. Finally, desperate, she called the retired cantor who had moved to Miami Beach to ask him. He let her in on a secret. He said, "Nobody knows. The congregation, when I was there, didn't know I had dentures, which made it so hard to sound the shofar. So I would turn to the ark, I would take out the dentures, I'd sound the shofar, I'd put the dentures back in, and the service would continue." It's amazing how many tricks of the trade you can learn as a student rabbi. I've been very blessed during my rabbinic career with 3 cantorial interns and now 5 rabbinical interns, and to offer them a few hints along the way, like when to turn to the ark. In South Bend, where I served for 15 years, we established a cantorial chair and brought in student cantors from New York's Hebrew Union College, where both Cantor Shapiro and Cantor Freilich received their ordinations. I had 1 student rabbi there in Indiana. Here at University Synagogue, 3 students, Jessica Olean Kirshner, Lynette Herzog, and Joel Simons, served as rabbinical interns. Jessica is now the Hillel director at Stanford. Lynette serves the congregation as assistant rabbi in Columbus, Ohio. And Joel never left. He's here as our associate rabbi and the founding director of the Jewish Center for Justice. And we are so fortunate that Joanne Leubin has been here these last 2 years at University Synagogue, Lador Vador, one generation to another, and will be ordained on Sunday morning. We have high expectations for each intern during their time with us. Students want to learn the practical world of shaping a service, how to teach and mold a bar or bat mitzvah, how to take what is taught in the ivory tower and bring it to a practical dimension. We want them to serve as powerful role models and mentors for our young students and especially our teens. We expect our intern to spend time with our adults, hoping that they will bring connection to our text and to themselves. From working as our religious school educator these many, many months, from teaching a chavurah, co-officiating at a funeral, offering a sermon on the High Holy Days, touring Israel with our teens, telling a story at Family Shabbat, teaching a Chevrat Torah, all these experiences help each student grow, nurturing their self-confidence and helping to shape the student into the rabbi. Now, Joanne brought much knowledge and vivacious energy to her internship. She has shared her passion for Jewish values and Jewish living, her love of Judaism, her connection to Israel, and her affection to people in all she has done. We have learned from her, and she has learned from us. One colleague commented on his interns, "What I think is the most important component of every internship is to help each student feel welcomed and valued as young, almost rabbis. Our hope is that with each hour spent among us, our interns grow so that once they do become an ordained rabbi, they'll carry with them a clear sense that they can do this, that they can ably serve the Jewish community as spiritual leader, teacher, and friend." Now, rabbis do a lot of things, from attending meetings to shaping budgets, but these are only vehicles to achieve the goal of making the Jewish people a godlike community built in the image of the Holy One. God is present wherever we let God in. And we hope, Joanne, you will continue to examine spirituality in classroom settings, in private counseling, in studying with a candidate about conversion, helping a teen find support and wholeness. What is most necessary is to express God in every aspect of your Jewish life, from the pulpit to the nursing home to the coffee shop, to the welcome offered a guest, to the honesty expressed in personal dialogue. Now, I'm not sure that you actually studied this commentary from Talmud Yoma 22b. Rabbi Kalman Halevi Epstein, the Maor HaShemesh, taught no one should be appointed the Parnas, the head of the community, unless he trails a box of bugs behind him. It really means that a person's soul still has holy sparks that fell during the original shattering that must be raised up. Joanne, as you remember why you entered rabbinical school, what you've questioned, challenged, and learned along the way, what you've gleaned from us at University Synagogue, you'll be able to motivate others to serve God as rabbis have for countless generations. And as you make your own soul as whole as possible, lift up the sparks, for you have a unique capacity to bring other people along the way to serve God. We at University Synagogue are so honored that you began your career here. So let me close with these words of Talmud Shabbat. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds to come. May you trust in generations past and yet to be. May your heart be filled with intuition and your words with insight. May songs of praise ever be on your tongue and your visions be on a straight path before you. Mazel tov. My privilege to invite forward Alan Golad, our synagogue president, to offer a presentation to Joanne.
So Joanne, I wish I would have been your agent. You were a first round pick out of Hebrew Union College, and maybe the first pick of the draft. I get 3 calls from synagogues after all your interviews. I get 3 calls from synagogues for references. And I called Joanne. I said, a week later, so what did you decide? She goes, I'm going to the synagogue in Miami. I go, Miami? They never even called me. You have brought so much to our congregation. We've had, for the last 2 years, been able to experience your warmth, your intellect, and that smile, which means so much to us. You've touched our lives. You've touched our children's life in religious school. We're so happy. Miami, there's a synagogue in Miami that's very, very fortunate. It is now my pleasure and my honor to present to you on behalf of all of us here at University Synagogue this gift as our appreciation for all you have done for us.
We all want to see.
No pressure, no pressure.
It's a kiddish cut.
Hey. Yeah, but open it up.
Put it all the way up.
I mean, you don't drink out of the box. It's not California wine. It's certainly not Miami wine. There we are.
Thank you all so much.
So, Miami called me, Alan. To talk to them. And I gotta say that sharing with people when they called us to ask about you was such a delight. You know, it's so much fun to share that love that you have of someone who has inspired you, become a part of your life, become a lifelong friend. So answering those phone calls was truly a blessing. But one of the things that I found myself doing in all of those phone calls was that it was very hard to pin down like one thing to say about you. Just there's so many ways in which you connect to the Jewish people, and so many ways which you're going to help people to praise the Holy One as you enter into this life, and so into this rabbinic life. And so when I was thinking about a song to sing for you, it occurred to me that the final psalm of our psalms is the best one to give to you, because Psalm 150 speaks about all the various instruments that there are that we use to praise God's name. And while I know your instrument that I have never heard you play, but I know that you're a drummer, you have many tools, many instruments at your fingertips that you are so adept at playing, and that will allow you to sing God's song and allow all of the people to hear your voice so clearly. So Psalm 150 for you, my dear, dear friend and rabbi.
Friends, on the back of our service pamphlet is our Misha Barak, our prayer for healing. It's commissioned here at University Synagogue, composed by Craig Taubman. We invite you to offer the name of anyone you know who is ill. In our prayerful way, we ally ourselves with the names that you mention, and we therefore gain strength from one another and pray for the welfare of all. within our community. If you know someone who is ill, please mention his or her name at this time. Rabbi Richard Levy, Donald Levy, Sal Gottlieb, David Arnovitz, and Harvey Berenson. We hold all their names and the names that are upon our hearts as well as we turn to Amisha Berach, prayer for healing. We turn, friends, to Aleinu in our prayer book on page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגר עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We turn, friends, to page 290 or 291. You may choose one of the meditations on the 2 pages and offer it as we prepare for our Kaddish memorial prayer. Kaddish is on 294. 2 weeks ago, we did not anticipate that Shabbat would be marred by the shootings in Poway, nor did we recognize that last week the Shabbat would end with 650 to 700 missiles fired from Gaza into Israel. And so tonight we remember Lori Gilbert Kay, who died at the Chabad in Poway, Moshe Agadi, the father of 4, Moshe Feder, 64, Ziad Al-Hamdah, and Pinchas Menachem Prezwazman, age 21, who died in Sderot, Ashkelon, and Ashdod. We also hold the memories, the Shabbat of Barbara Lippman, Hans Lowe, Beatrice Lowe, Marguerite Perkins Mautner, Terry Sanders, Annette Starr, Doris Weiner. We also recall the loved ones who died at this season in years past. Minnie Annis, Rabbi Harry Brevis, Lee Cohen, Albert Debro, Murray Feinbaum, Celia Fuchs, Billy Goldberg, Jules Green, Armand Greenfield, Ruth Karp, Stanley Kirshner, Lillian Kushinsky, Lillian Mandel, Kitty Masloff, Samuel Miner, Bernard Mogul, Louis Narodetsky, Ann Ross, Solomon Rossman, Margie Siswine, Joseph Statzinger, Betty Turcat, Hannah Weinstein, Alfred Wertheimer, and Phyllis Zemlak. Zichronam livracha, may each of their memories be recalled as a blessing as we turn to Kaddish and offer these wonderful, important, and holy words of Hebrew and Aramaic together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'alam le'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, comfort all who are saddened among us here and wherever they may be. And we say together, amen. Friends, I'm going to invite you to be seated as you turn to 333 for our closing song, Yaribon. I want to thank our fabulous musicians. This is for our Jewish year 5779, our last Shabbat Zimrah. So I can only say thank you for these unbelievable 5 years that we've all been doing this together. We want to extend our mazel tov to mom and dad, wherever they may be, with their children doing whatever parents of young children are doing at such moments. So Ari and Demetra, mazel tov. To Alex and to Lexi and their families, mazel tov on your banot mitzvah tomorrow. Let's see, one of them is at 10:30 in the morning. That's here. 5 o'clock over there. And lots of celebrating. We're very happy. Joanne, mazel tov. Sunday, don't trip on the way in or on the way out. It's the only advice I have left to give you. Thank you, Alan, for your presentation. Thank you to Mara for your sister presentation, to Brian Lazarus and Risa Davids, who ushered, to Canner, who inspires us with her music. Let's all sing, Yaribon Olam.
Yaribon, Yaribon.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Okay. Enjoyed your solo, Mr. Gordon.
Thank you, sir.
In the funky song, Yalo Sadai. It's a nice break.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
The sound, he was playing with the sound.
I know. I think the one that was closest to you was.
He was, when I was getting away from the mic to
Yeah.
play softly, he kept
Yeah.
looking for me. You know, I was getting away from him.
Yeah.
And he was bringing the because, you know, I was playing under dialogue.
Yeah.